And we are live for another episode of Inside the Courtyard. Uh, so Jack Ma popped up today, right? It was exactly today. What we'll discuss is
Yep.
what we'll discuss is the anti-monopoly law that was published by the People's Bank of China today. Before that, we need to what one of our listeners suggested we should do an introduction, which
I think that's way overdue.
which is very fair because I think people shouldn't just take what we say. Shouldn't just believe what we say. We actually have credentials to back it up. Thank God.
Well, I mean,
Contrary to some of the other experts in this field. So I have a bachelor's degree in political science with a minor in Asian studies. And then I did my master's degree at Peking University, which is in Beijing. And then a subsequent master's at the London School of Economics. And I've been working in the Greater China region and on Greater China region corporate affairs for the past 4 years now. But before that, I was working with my co-host on this show on a lot of academic papers, and you can find all of that online. So, go.
Good credentials. It's pretty good. I respect your credentials. They're good.
It's not bad.
They're good. That's not bad. Not bad. I would consider you to be a proper expert. I mean, it's really not bad.
Well,
versus people who travel and become experts of random places in a few weeks.
No, you mean English teachers in China, bro. English teachers.
Oh yeah, they know everything about the foreign world. Everything, sure. That 在国外, like, oh yeah, and then you're dying to hear what's gonna come after that. Like, oh bro, feed me. In any case,
wait, tell everyone your credentials, and I got a funny story about that.
Yeah, exactly. So in any case, I have a PhD in political science, especially in comparative politics, and I've been researching, and also teaching in the field of Asian and Chinese politics for how long now?
8?
At least I've been researching for like 12 years, I think, and I've been teaching for almost 8 years now.
Yeah, see, I was right.
Almost 8 years, yeah. The time flies by, man. I've published almost, I guess, in all the big databases you'll find in Journal Springer, all of that, in the social policy. Oh, yeah, I've worked on care policies, energy policy, of course, sociology of elites. Oh, my God. Like, the list is way too long, but I guess, and I've received, without tooting my own horn, all the distinction you can possibly get in Canada. So, like, I mean,
that's fair. That's legitimate, actually.
It actually is, and some of them I shouldn't have had and created mad jealousy over time. But all of this to say that I'm not just rambling, although sometimes I might come off as rambling. If you've ever been a student in my class, you know when I close my eyes and touch my forehead, you know something rogue is gonna happen. Or if I adjust my seating, you know something rogue is coming. If I adjust my seating when I talk, like, oh, you know something's gonna happen.
Yeah, and we know each other because you taught me in my 4th year seminar on Chinese politics. And then we started doing research together and playing Diablo 3. That's how we know each other.
Actually, I think that was one of the first things, because you came to check me out, like, to see, like, bro, is he legit? Because I could see it on your face. I could see it.
Bro, I had to test
coming
you,
in.
bro.
Fair enough, because, experts are experts. So, you wanted to test the level of my expertise. Which is fair. Which is very fair.
Yeah, and you rose to the challenge. So here we are.
Bro, I was ready. I was born ready. And then I think the second line after that, I think we started to talk about Reaper of Soul. Because it was D3, but it was just at the time when Reaper of Soul was announced. So I think there was something about that. I don't know how it came to that, but it revolved around Reaper of Souls. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to fucking rift until like 11 p.m. or something. I can't remember, but we used to go pretty hard on that. Anyways.
Yeah, but anyway, nowadays it's really, Yeah, I just do the updates. That's it. I just do the updates.
Anyway, so I was talking to a friend the other day, and Cam, if you're listening to this podcast, you told me this story. So
Oh no.
basically he works for a Chinese tech company, and then they were like interviewing some guy, I don't know, to hire, but this is a white guy who, spent some time in China, right? Who is quote unquote proficient in Chinese, right?
Oh, it's an
And like,
absolute beast.
oh, bro. Anyways,
A
so it was
beast.
like him and some Chinese colleagues, and then this guy who's being interviewed was dropping just Chinese lines like whenever he can in the interview, and I was like, man, the number of times I've had to like listen to this, just there's something just so annoying about a foreigner trying to prove so hard they're good at Chinese, and it's just like, bro, like if you could speak it, you would have just done this whole thing entirely in Chinese, and if you're confident in it and you're not worried about it, it wouldn't be a problem. But I felt my friend's pain there, basically. That's what I'm saying. All these
Oh
fucking,
no, I get it, but
yeah.
also always be aware of the silent foreigner because you never know. You
Oh,
never know.
the
Always beware,
the silent ones usually know.
especially when they look at you. It's like, bro, I know what you're saying, and I'm not gonna engage, but like, I know, like the eyes are telling you, like, I know what you're saying right now.
It's true.
Just don't engage. Don't engage. Oh my god. I
Well,
usually
okay.
do. I Yeah, because I usually do that because otherwise, if you speak too much, you know what? Like people are just drawn to you, and it's like, bro, I don't have other shit to do. Just like back off. And like, do you want to exchange language? Like, no, I don't want to. No, like, no, I have. Like, I was in the gym. Like, at some point, you just shush. Like, or I called my dude. He was like, bro, do you want me to open the door for you? Like early out. I was like, yeah, do that, please. Oh,
That's that.
yeah.
Now moving on to
So,
our
oh yeah.
favorite
So
guy.
we absolutely have to go back to Jack. And I'm so vindicated because I kept telling people like he's just gotta come back, and that's just take it easy.
But wait. Look what he was talking about when he came back. The
Yeah, but
topic that he
hold
was
on.
talking
Yeah. I know you're going way too fast.
about. All right,
Calm down.
go. Lay it out.
So anyway, the thing is, like, I was reading some comments like, oh yeah, people close to Jack were saying like, oh yeah, he left for the U.S. or oh he left for Singapore. It's like, no, he didn't do none of that. He didn't leave. And god damn it, he didn't, and he was still there. And yeah, to go back to what you were saying, like he was talking about like praising a rural like teacher and stuff like this. It's like, man, you just took it hard, and this is like the because the party has been recently talking about like sending graduates to the countryside, like a like cultural revolutionary ish kind of discussion about how to mobilize talent. And this is really exactly in this kind of conversation, encouraging that, and also demonstrating your patriotism to the country by not only doing that, but also I think it was a charity. So you know, he's really playing into what he's expected to do, and he looked absolutely defeated. Like his face, you can tell. Like, oof, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he also did talk about poverty alleviation. So, that's
But
just
he has to. He has to talk about that. That's the thing. That's the topic. It's one of the centennial goal of the party, and apparently it's been resolved. So like should be the end of the story. But apparently
yeah.
maybe it ain't. Maybe it's not. Who knows?
Once again, like people miss the point entirely, and it's just yeah, I mean, you and I, we saw this coming from a mile away, right? Like the moment he disappeared, we're like, oh, okay, we know what's happening, and we know what's gonna happen when he comes back. And lo and behold, what did we fucking say?
Yeah, because you can't escape just like that. Like if you're smart, there's a company that does like lithium battery in Yunnan. What's his? I think his name is I think it's Li Xiaoming, but he doesn't go by Li Xiaoming. He goes by I think Patrick Li, his name I think. And this guy saw this whole situation like pan out. He was probably laughing because he registered his whole family as a U.S. citizen I think years ago. Like this guy is ready to leave at whenever he's ready. And I mean, Jack should have known. Jack should have known and be prepared. Like Jack wasn't ready, man. He had other passports, but like you can't escape to Singapore like this. And if they decide to hold you down, Singapore is not going to do anything. The US might be a little more like, they might feel a little upset if you're holding US citizen. But, Singapore or even
Singapore
like,
won't
what
care.
was it? The other one was like, what, like Nevis and what?
Saint Kitts and Nevis.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, they're definitely going to intervene and save you. Like, yeah, right. Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's also today that the PBOC, the central bank, released their draft rules on what is considered a monopoly. And basically, the rules, there are two main rules, and one is if you are a non-bank offering, I think, payment services,
Yep.
you hold more than 50% of market share, you're deemed a monopoly.
Or
Which,
if there's three company
yeah,
holding three quarters.
yeah. So basically, they've set the limits so large that all the payments, well, the major ones are all going to be included. So Alipay and WeChat Pay 100% fall into the latter category because I don't think either of them dominates 50%, but I think they definitely plus one more, I guess. I don't know what other ones would be, but they definitely fall within the 75% category if you lump them together.
Well, we expect that at some point the digital yuan and maybe more like bank centered payment platform will fill a lot of the gaps. And oh yeah, and I was reading that a lot of shareholders, like especially foreign shareholders, are dropping Alibaba. And I was like, you waited all this time to do this, and memory serves me right on this. I warned some people about that. I told them like, no, it's a safe bet. They're like, no, it's not a safe bet. It looks safe because it's steady right now, but if you know who Jack Ma is, shit can go down at any given moment. It's like, no, 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 we like 10 cent, like you don't understand, like you don't get it. And now who's again vindicated? Like, yeah, they're exiting now. Yeah, because the party's like really diving in, but like yeah, it was just a matter of time. And now people are rushing and with, oh, like how much are we gonna lose on shares? Like, yeah, but it's too late for that, bro. Like we warned you, and you just wouldn't listen because you knew better.
I mean, it's I get the logic behind why they think Alibaba is safe, but it's not. Again, anything that's not state owned in China isn't quote unquote safe because again, it's not state owned. So it's just a matter of time and a matter of circumstance of whether or not the founder wants to play ball with the party, and they don't want to play ball. Like it's pretty much game over. Uh, and Jack Ma is finding out very quickly that no matter how rich or how big your company is in China, it's not the same set of rules that you play with in the US. So unfortunately for him, he's gotta just yes, he's got to take it. He's got to take it like a man. And I guess in the subsequent month, we'll see draft plans for how they're going to break apart Alibaba. I know Ant Financial is talking with the either the CSRC or the PBOC has like a permanent working group in Ant Financial to guide them.
Uh, I think it was the Financial Stability Committee, although I'm not 100% sure, but it wouldn't make sense that they would have a working group directly inside and financial and even possibly Alibaba at this point because they wouldn't report that. But yeah, it would make sense that it would be with the Financial Stability Committee.
Yeah, and just on that, I heard from someone who heard from someone who works at Alibaba. This was like this was a couple days ago. Okay, he said this person who works at Alibaba said, "Oh, Jack Ma is just keeping a low profile. He responds to online messages." And I was like, "Sure, sure, buddy, sure, for sure. He's fucking replying to messages on Alibaba's internal platform for sure."
No, and like I was right. Like he had to just shush because whatever comes out of his mouth will be deemed a threat at some point. So you just calm it down, review your party lines, and fall in line. And that's exactly what he did, like a good little soldier.
he's not technically part of the company anymore, right? Like I know he holds a decent stake, but he has no operational roles in the company anymore. So
In Alibaba, you mean?
yeah,
No, because he had to step down. Although it was framed as like he did that voluntarily. He's like, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. But no, technically no, technically no. But
what
some people are saying that like some of the management are just strawmans, and like whatever Jack Ma says goes for some things, but that might be part of the past, especially with the investigation going. I think for Alibaba and possibly and financial sake, at some point they will have to just cut ties with Jack because it's not gonna look good to be associated with that guy. It's just sad, but I think now they get the message. Like, okay, just Jack is a loose cannon, or you never know, and that is very detrimental for the company. So don't talk about the companies anymore. Just don't. Just enjoy your money and just go away from us. Just leave us be.
do you think they can do that though? Because like Jack Ma is Alibaba and vice versa, right? It's going to be
Well,
hard to
I
pull
mean,
that.
I could, yeah. I mean, there's Apple. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Like now it's Tim Cook. To be fair, Tim Cook doesn't have the panache of
He's
what's his.
massive though. He's a beast. He's a beast.
Yeah, I know, but like if you always live in the shadow of Jack Ma, that you have this key person, if he fucks up, it's really like if there's no replacement for him, it's very bad. And now he just, they potentially lose on the IPO because of his ties to questionable people, first and foremost. So, I mean, if I'm on the board of Alibaba or N Financial, I'm like, can we replace this dude, or just can we just like use it for like publicity stunts, or just go away from us a little?
What do you think he's going to do now? Like more philanthropy shit?
I really hope he sticks to that. I really hope so for his own sake. I hope to see him donating. I hope to see him setting schools. I hope to see him like investing in the countryside for poverty relief, alleviation. I mean, like I want to see that because if he does that, he still has a chance to survive. Otherwise, I mean, there's always bribery allegations. Like there's always that. They always have that card in their pocket. So I'd be careful.
Do you think he could go rogue and try to like immigrate or
He
emigrate?
can't. No. He can't leave. There's no way he can't leave. There's no way they're letting him board a flight, or they will just make sure that if he leaves alone.
Yeah.
No family, no family. So I would be surprised that Jack would agree to that, although he could, but I don't see him leaving. Because if he does, I'm sure like the wife, the kids, parents, like all everybody's just still stuck in China. So bad idea, very bad idea.
Yeah, you know, it is a bit it is a bit weird to see like Jack Ma fall like this because compared to some of the other Chinese businessmen that we know, he seemed to know the rules. You know what I mean? He seemed to know how the game was played.
Yeah, I know, especially with his like government 2.0 project. Like I think it was from 2018 or something like this, when he said like openly, like, yeah, I'm going to share resource with the government. I was like, okay, man, like I think you get it. You get what you're supposed to be doing, which is good. But like this, I was like, oh man, like, oh.
Do you think he just got carried away in the moment and just like went with it?
Oh, the pawn shop comment? Yeah. I honestly think he might have been just carried away. Because if it was rehearsed properly, I doubt he would ever say something like that.
Man, it was a
I
cost.
think he went. I think he went rogue, and people like, oh, he's going without a script, and then he just went off. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think he actually showed his true colors, but the system does not reward that. So You need to act as if, as we say often, act as if. And if you act as yourself, there's no incentives for that. This is actually very detrimental. Like the system does not reward innovation or new ideas. So not a good idea. But or maybe it was just tired or something. I just forgot. This people are bound to make mistakes.
Yeah, for sure. But some mistakes you can't afford to make. Not in China. This is
Well, I
not.
mean, Sun Dao provided hospitals and schools to employees of his company and also to other villagers. Like that was a crucial mistake, competing with the state for provision of social goods. Like what's wrong with you? Like I know you think it's good and it's philanthropy, but I mean, you run it, that's not good. And that's why I hope Jack Ma gets the point. Like, if you pay for stuff, don't even put your name on it. Just give it to locals, to rurals. Just give it away. Make them happy. Give it, invite party members to the opening. Just do what you have to do. Otherwise, I mean, like the road for redemption will be a long one on this one.
Oh man,
Definitely.
I don't think you're going to see him in any international events or forums or industry type things anymore. He's not going to be showing up at like World Economic Forum. Um, even in China, I don't think he's going to show up much in any kind of industry type conferences anymore.
I mean, in China, it depends to what extent the party wants to parade him. It really depends
Oh
because
yeah,
people
that's true. That's
still
a good point. They might just
because
show his ass up at
yeah,
conferences and be like, "Look, this is what happens."
yeah, put Jack Ma on display. Because there's still some credentials or legitimacy to what he's trying to do and to his legacy in the fintech world. So I mean, it all depends on what the party wants to do with him. But in terms of being grounded, yeah, he's definitely grounded. Otherwise, like I say, if he's allowed to leave, the families ain't going anywhere. They're staying behind to make sure he comes back like a good little boy.
So he's okay. He's reappeared, right?
Yep.
But it's not done yet. Do you know what I
Oh
mean? Like
no,
it's not done.
absolutely not. Well, this is far
Not
from over.
you think he's not out of the forest yet. He's still in the woods.
Oh yeah, but the party is very petty. So like this this ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Like, do you like okay, so do you think it's just a matter of how happy is a party and to what extent they want to press like embezzlement or bribery charges on him? Because they could.
They could, but uh they could, but like god damn, that would be a problem to deal. Like this would be a PR nightmare. It's just like Jimmy Lai, for example, although even Jimmy Lai doesn't have the standing of Jack.
No, of
Like
course.
because Jimmy Lai appeals to an older generation. And even then, if you for foreigners per se, I mean Jimmy Lai is almost I mean is relatively unknown, I'd say. Relatively unknown.
Yeah.
But Jack is definitely a known figure. And he's a known figure for like let's say my dad's generation in terms of like politicians and economists or these so he's known, and that would be a massive PR nightmare to deal with, especially if you charge him with bribery. And the problem if you dive into bribery, uh you need to extend the charges to several people. Several individuals will need to plunge with him, and that would make, let's say, Lai Xiaomin look like an amateur. Because if you really dive in, if you really do that, the numbers you'll get out of this will be, I think he was at like 17 so like 1.7 bill, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna be in like the tens of billions, because we know the financial moves they made to set up at financials are, let's say, dubious at best,
Yeah.
very murky. So I don't know if I would do that if I were at the party. Like, should we dive in? I don't know. I don't. I really hope not, because that would not be a good option. Like the Ren Zhiqiang option was okay, because like it's just one dude of one real estate company, although, he's a second generation red and stuff like this. But in the end, this is not going to cause like a ripple across the system. So it's not that bad. But Jack Ma case, I really hope they don't go down that road. That wouldn't be good. That it's too much manpower, resources to mobilize for the party. This is a whole front you need to open while you're dealing with the US, while you're dealing with economic recovery and new clusters of COVID-19. Not a good idea.
Okay, this is a perfect transition. Let's move on to the new outbreaks in China, because it's. I mean, last we talked about it, it seemed like there was a chance it could contain it, but now it seems like it's getting a bit more serious. And again, there's winter, and we have Chinese New Year's coming up. So, are we going to see a repeat of what happened last year? I mean, I don't think it's going to be to that extent, but man, they got very little time to get this shit under control.
Well, I mean, I saw they build a new hospital for like 4,000 beds
Yep.
very recently. I think it was completed yesterday.
Yep.
So that's a signal that the expectations are very high for contagion, and that's not good. But at least they're slowly preparing, which is, I mean, not too bad. And we know that when the party decides to mobilize for building and actually doing something, they have the means to do it. Not necessarily the know-how all the time, but the means are definitely there. So that's good. But one of the question, and there was one in one of the paper I was reading. Uh, One guy was asking, like, nobody talks about the rolling out and inoculation in China, the rolling out of the vaccines. Because, like, if the party would have been smart, regardless of the success rate of the vaccine, you would roll them out like as much as you can before the new year. And we're not hearing anything on that. It's very silent on the rolling out of the vaccine, and I'm a bit puzzled on that because I recalled a few weeks ago, got some friends told me like, oh yeah, they're preparing that, and people will be vaccinated. It's like, okay, so that's coming along good, uh, despite the vaccine being good or not. At least at least if they're doing something, it's better than nothing. So he was telling me, like, yeah, it's supposed to be rolling out very soon. Like, okay, that's not bad. And then I re-asked him a few days ago. It's like, yeah, no, we haven't heard back from that. So it's been silent for weeks now, and I'm very puzzled by that. What about you?
Um, where is your friend in Shandong?
Yep.
Yeah, so I know people in Beijing that have gotten the first dose of the Sinovac vaccine. Um, and I don't know when the second dose is being delivered. I also don't know what the schedule is. I don't know what the priorities are. I'm assuming it's going to go to, frontline workers first, as it is in other countries and elderly and stuff. But yeah, you're right. We're not hearing much about it. Like, there's no reporting of what percentage of the population or which regions have gone to which cities, or who is going to, like, their strategy. That's none of that has been publicized.
No,
Uh,
and you see, that worries me a lot because the party's always keen on taking credit and boasting about things, and the fact that they're not flexing their plan, like, there's something afoot there, like, because you would definitely do it if you're the party. You're like, we have a plan and we're very structured, and like we're gonna have the army or like whatever, just like to show off that like we're prepared, just like they're trying to do here. But like, here's a massive fiasco. But like, regardless, people tend to be, let's say, calmer when they know how it's going to go down, and now we have no clue.
yeah, I'm just thinking the possibility, like the possible reasons as to why this is. I mean, my first concern is that the Sinovac vaccine is underperforming hard, which, to be fair, is wouldn't be surprising. The other thing is potentially logistics problems, or production problems, production bottlenecks, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit strange. Although I did hear that in Beijing, apparently, even if you do have the first dose of Sinovac vaccine, it doesn't really offer you any benefits in terms of like moving around.
But then I think I think the issue is the first one. I think it always, and this is going to be a recurring theme, potentially, inside all of the episodes, although they're not really numbered as episodes, but let's say acting as if, because now that you flexed that you have a vaccine, you can't go back on that. You have it. Now you need to flex that it supposedly works. So you need to live with that, unfortunately. And I think that the party is stuck with that. They announced it way too soon that it was ready, and now they can't backtrack because they would lose face on an international level. And you and I both know that losing face is something that's unacceptable. It's just like when warlords start eating people. Like once you start that, there's no going back to just killing them. Like no, when you start eating people, like that you cross that line, you can't show weakness. You can't go back to not eating people. Same goes with the vaccine. Same goes with the vaccine. I think, like they said they had it, and they will use it, regardless of the fact that it works or not. They will act as if it does, and I think it explains why people who are getting the first shot are not allowed any preferential treatment in terms of moving around and stuff like this. Because here, this is what they're talking about. Like once you get the first dose, they will set up a QR or a health passport. So at some point when it rolls out on a more regular basis, it will allow you benefits to do things. So I expect this to work pretty good here when it rolls out properly. But with all the system in place there, that should already be the case. But it, like you said, it doesn't grant you the right to do much more. So the only thing that provides you a right to do much more is if you've been tested. My stepmom told me, like, if you've been tested, you're allowed to go to more places than if you have not, especially if you have negative tests. Like, you can do more things. But the vaccine thing, I really think it's about underperforming. I don't think bottlenecking is the issue because they have massive production capabilities. In terms of logistics, that might be an issue, but to be fair, um, I mean, looking at the past campaign of vaccination, uh, the army was there usually, and they have so many centers and like community level, like clinics or service center. They can figure it out pretty good. I think it's really about the quality, and nobody wants to backtrack on that.
I know they have another vaccine candidate produced by Sinopharm, but I don't know if
Yeah.
that's being rolled out because, as far as I know, people in Beijing who got it told me that there was no option; it was just Sinovac. So, yeah, I think the likely answer to our question is that it's the efficacy of the vaccine. They don't have trust in it, so they're not giving people any kind of special access to move around, even though you have the first dose. Um, Also, I think Sinovac is a 2-dose vaccine, right? I think it's 2-dose.
It should be.
I think so far only Johnson and Johnson has produced a 1-dose vaccine, so Sinovac
Huh.
should be 2-dose.
I'd have to ask, but I think it probably is. And to be fair, it went from 80% to 70% to 50%. So like even 2 doses wouldn't be of much use. Like, I mean, honestly speaking, at this point, how many doses do you want? Like,
Well,
like how many doses you want?
apparently there's I don't know if this is confirmed. I saw there were allegedly counterfeit Sinovac vaccines floating around in China. It's like, of course, of fucking course. Oh man, this is gonna be a problem, man. Like, because the Sinovac chairman came out and said like their vaccine is safe and completely it works in to what is like it works to prevent extreme
Yeah,
symptoms or something like
yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah, you did emphasize like, and yeah, that was a very odd statement. I was like, okay, I get what you're saying, but like, what about everyone else? What about everyone else?
To be fair, though, I think I believe him when he says it's safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I can shoot. I can give you saline in an injection, and it's safe.
Like we haven't. I don't think there's any reported complications from the Sinovac vaccine, right?
Did you actually just say that? Did you actually just say that?
Has there been
Really?
reported complications?
Would it be reported? Is the question.
No. But come on, it was being tested in like UAE and like Brazil and shit. Like we would have known.
The complication in Brazil. I don't recall reading complication, but I think they really defecated on the like efficacy level. Like really, I think that was the main thing in Brazil. And to be fair, I don't know how many people got it because at some point people became very, very suspicious. So
I'm
I don't
also a
know.
bit concerned because Sinovac isn't state owned, right? It's not state owned.
It's a joint, right?
Yeah, but it's not like a Sinopharm where it's completely state owned, right? Like it's not even majority state owned, I don't think.
Oh, I'd have to look into it properly.
Any case, okay, in the event it's not properly state controlled, I don't really trust them. Honestly, for this kind of thing, I actually trust a proper state owned company to do something.
Oh, I mean, just like we said in whatever report, all of this has been made through politics and not necessarily through science. So just wait a little. Just wait a little. Just wait.
Yeah, but in any case, I mean, with the upcoming Chinese New Year's, they got like what? They got like 2 weeks to get this shit under control.
Oh yeah, this is not happening. This is absolutely not happening. Best case scenario, I mean, if you're the party right now, you're really stuck because you have the Chinese New Year coming, and then right after in February, you have the two sessions, which is the meeting of the National People's Congress and the
CPPCC.
the political consult, whatever the 政协, that okay. I hate this one so bad. And in any case, so you have that meeting. So, and they haven't postponed it yet. So it like they're really optimistic about not too much outbreak during the next few weeks. And it makes me wonder if they haven't prepared additional restriction on movement. For example, suddenly canceling trains, planes. Because as far as we're concerned right now, except the newly quarantined regions, you can still move around provinces. So unless you paralyze everyone, which you could, it's gonna be hard to control a potential outbreak or a potential, like, let's say, larger clusters, especially coming from like the train station, especially train stations.
Why don't they? They should just set up vaccination spots at all these places, just at train stations and shit. Like, if you want to get on, you got to take this shot.
I would respect that. I would massively respect that. Because, like, logistically speaking, people are coming to you. That's amazing. Like, all you need to do is set up a table at every door of every wagon. That's all you need to do. Like, 2 nurses, 10 doors, 15, no, 50, yeah, 15 doors. That's like 30 people with 1 guard. Because, shit can go crazy at any moment. You never know. But, like, that's minimal logistical, like, mobilization. That's great. That would be amazing. I would respect that so bad.
You know what I think a problem could be is that they don't have enough doses to cover everyone.
Well, of course they don't. Like you need at least 500 or 600 million doses right off the bat to create some form of effect.
Yeah. Well, they did say
So
they're gonna pump out 500 million doses sometime
by
this year.
yeah, but sometime this year is gonna be way too late. In any case, now we're still we're on the 20th, so today's the inauguration, so nobody's really gonna care about what's happening to Jack Ma because the Biden is entering. The Biden, bro, the Biden. Yeah, so in the event that within the next week or so they postpone the 2 meetings, then you'll know. If they don't, it's because they're really, really optimistic about whatever plan they have for the Chinese New Year. And so far, they haven't really talked about it. So I don't know what to expect, but I don't expect something great.
I mean, they're what, reporting 100-ish infections every day in the affected areas right now, right?
Is it in the hundreds every day?
Around 100, I think.
Which is not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, given the size, it's
And that the containment measures are very strict. Like you can't leave these districts, which is good and bad because people are suffering hardcore.
well, bro. One dude
Well, I
shot the bed
mean,
for everyone. One dude shot the bed.
oh, probably more than one. Probably much more than one. Bro, here they're still begging the prime minister to like diminish the amount of planes that are allowed to land in Canada because they notice that a lot of the new cases are foreign. So it's like, man, are we still we're asking for permission to do something as simple as not allowing travelers? Like, oh man. Uh
Bro,
yeah.
apparently, I heard that Pfizer and like BioNTech were not happy with government proposals to half the doses.
Oh yeah, no, bro. I think even Moderna said like, if you don't follow the guidelines, we'll just stop funneling you doses. I
Which
was
is
like
fair.
yeah, of course it's fair. Like man, they give you instruction, follow the instructions. Don't be an ass. And like, oh, we want to shoot more people. Like, no, this is not how it goes. If they tell you this is how you do it, you just do it exactly as they say. Because
Oh
like
man.
you're jeopardy. Like if you go above a certain, like I think it's they said 2 weeks, but I think they suggested, oh man, the internal expert of the Canadian government suggested that they could stretch it out for like 1 or 2 more weeks. I was like, how would you possibly know that? Like you're just gambling at this point. Like and what if in 4 weeks, let's say you don't get the second dose, then what? The first one was just in vain, you just wasted it. Like that would be so moronic. I
Bro, like man, it's kind of weird.
expect this. I expect this to happen. I expect that people that got the first one waited too long because of the government's action, and then got the second dose, but still have to redo another dose. We're landing up on 3 doses. I'm sure. I am sure this is gonna happen. It
What
will.
can you mix and match vaccines or no? Can you
Well,
do like
it's just like crossing the booze. You can't cross the nutriments. It's like
bro,
colors or temperatures of nutriments. You know that.
like
You
what happens?
absolutely know that.
I hope the government is keeping record. Like, okay, this person got Pfizer, this person got BioNTech. Like, if you don't have a record of this, like at the same time, I'm
Uh,
like worried that the
I,
Canadian government is not competent enough to, you know, think this through.
well, they did buy Nuctech, so you know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, so
Oh yeah. Listen to this. So this is completely outside of what we're talking about. Like this is good.
okay, go.
So my assistant just sent me a text. She was like, like I can't finish the work you asked because like I have an online funeral today. I was like, wow.
Oh my
Oh, this is
god,
this is amazing.
Jesus!
Oh, this is great. This is amazing.
Like on Zoom?
Wait, let me read that. Um,
An
I
online
think yeah, I think yeah, I think it is. I think it is on Zoom. I'm just gonna
Jesus,
tell her it's fine. I'm just gonna tell her it's fine. Just it's.
bro. I don't. I think 2021 is going to be a repeat of 2020. I don't think anything's going to change this year.
I mean, not much. My stepmom said the same. Like, even though we'll be inoculated potentially around September now, they say.
Oh
I
my,
mean, oh no, but you're looking at least 6 to 8 more months of like mask and other types of measures, definitely.
gee,
And let's face it, COVID-19 ain't going anywhere. Like, this is just part of the new pool of shit that's going to be recurring at some point. Like, For people who have kids in kindergarten, they know that, sorry, coronaviruses in general, strep and shit like this, like you get sick so many times. It's just part of your daily life at some point because your kid is a plague carrier. So that's for us it wouldn't change much, but like for people who are not close to kids or in contact with a lot of people every day, that's a dramatic change in their lives. But like for us, it's like, ah, man, we should have wore a mask for years.
Man, jeez, like,
Anyway,
so yeah.
if we close down this thing, there was one more thing before we dive down to more lighthearted uh, anecdotes. Let's say, because I didn't think it would be that serious today, but there was more to it that I thought.
We could do a separate episode on just anecdotes because now we're closing in almost like an hour on just a chat.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
but there was one thing. Okay, so you remember we talked about, for example, I think there was Jiang Qiaoliang, who was the party secretary of Hubei during the pandemic, who got like removed uh, actually during the pandemic as well, but he hasn't been really shunned in any way, shape, or form. Uh, but there was also Ma Guoqiang, the former Wuhan party secretary, who got removed in February, but now, and then he didn't get anything like in terms of negligence or whatever. It was just, he stepped down, which is okay, fair. But now, yesterday, they came after his Mishu. So like, oh, oh, they're preparing for something good.
So okay, wait. Explain what a mishu is. I think this is a very
Yeah, it depends on like if you have, like, let's say official or non-official mishu. A mishu are personal secretaries or people that are personal assistants. Again, doesn't it's not always an official title, although sometimes it is. Like you have like 办公室秘书 with, or let's say, if I remember, like one of the easiest one is like, for example, 主席办公室秘书. So like you know that this guy is definitely like the secretary of the working unit of the president. So you know that this guy follows him around everywhere. So he's a close aide, a close assistant. But why this matters so much for, let's say, investigations is that usually, like, when they start investigating people, they will go after Mishu's first, personal secretary or personal aides, because they got the good thing. They got all the details on what happened, or the agendas, or sometimes note taking. They know what happened. So when you see Mishu is getting arrested, you need to, okay, who did that guy serve, and what did that guy potentially do? Because this is what they're after. So if the Mishu disappears for investigation, you can be sure then potentially in a few months that Ma Guoqiang will follow through with, I would say, well, it depends, because the party is not really very fond of, like, let's say, negligence allegation. Sometimes it is, but it's not very fond of it. Like when scaffoldings are dropping and people die, or like there's an explosion at a coal factory, sometimes they will say, oh yeah, there was negligence because that guy was responsible of like labor security, stuff like this. Okay, sometimes, but most of the times they won't go down that road, because it implies that the party itself is negligent. So you try not to go down that road. So since Ma Guoqiang used to work for Wuhan Iron and Steel, we could potentially assume that they will go down bribery routes. I wouldn't be surprised to see bribery allegations popping out for Ma Guoqiang at some point, and he being under investigation for bribery rather than uh, negligence, which was the same for like I think Ji Binxuan. Ji Binxuan. Oh yeah, let's not go down that. Yeah, that's a too complex of a case. But it was also for something related to vaccines in Chengchun, I think 1 or 2 or 3 years ago. Uh, but that was never the case. They just removed it, but they never acknowledged negligence. So I'm dying to see if Ma Guoqiang will have, let's say, allegations of potentially uh, negligence on his record, or they would just go down the road of corruption or bribery. I'm not quite sure how this is gonna go down. Oh, oh yeah, and one more dude we absolutely have to talk about.
who. Recently?
Oh, Zhou Xianwang, the mayor. Okay, so he got removed from the standing committee of the Hubei province. I think that was back in also in February or something like that.
Yeah.
But but oh, he got technically recently, and I say that with all the, let's say, the lightheartedness that it means, promoted to member of the Hubei CCPPC. So like he's now a party member of the provincial Zhengxie of Hubei. So this means that this guy might actually avoid any form of allegation, and they will let him finish or end his career in Hubei, regardless of what happened during the heydays of the pandemic. So again, negligence, I don't know if they will go down that road because it will look very bad. It will reflect very poorly on the overall narrative that the party was victorious since day one. So again, not quite sure, but it looks like they're, let's say, teaming up to say that Zhou Xianwang will just finish his career in the Zhengxie, and Ma Guoqiang might go down the road of the investigation, but again, not clear. It depends on what uh, his Mishu says. It really depends. And to be fair, look at how interesting the situation is because his Mishu retired in 2014, and now they're digging him up,
Yeah,
and
so it's
all
definitely
of
not good.
this. No, it definitely it's absolutely not good. And don't forget, this is happening right before the two sessions. So if shunning has to happen, it will happen before in the following, let's say, few weeks or right after. So it we'll see how that plays out. But I don't know if I expect to see shunning again on the uh, more negligence versus corruption.
Okay, so we're finally seeing some movement. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
well,
But to be fair, people are starting to be, let's say, um, investigated right now. And I dressed up like I have the list of all the people that were, let's say, involved in the health commissions of provinces. A few of them moved around, not many. We've seen a lot of like deputy head being removed, stuff like this, or a few head like director or party secretaries have been changed, but very few, very few. And to be fair, in the first like February, March, April, like where it was like the peak pandemic time, mistakes were absolutely made. And then we're almost like a year after the fact, which makes sense because you need people with institutional memory, people who have institutional ties, and they know how the commission work and how to deploy efforts for containment works. So you can't remove all of them while it's happening. And I get it, but there's still too few people on the chopping block
you think it's just
right
because
now.
you think it's just because they're too distracted with other things going on to actually, pursue these kind of investigations?
Well, there's definitely that, but there's also, like I said before, um, admitting this would be to admit defeat. Like
Yes.
if you start removing them, it's like, okay, so all the people that you promoted to be the heads of provincial health commissions were bad. They didn't know what they were doing. Like this, you admit it's kind of an admittance of wrongdoing. Because again, since the party controls appointment, demotions, and stuff like this, I mean, it's all on the party all the time. So, I mean, are you willing to admit that like these people didn't do a good job across the board, especially when you took a victory lap in September? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I mean, I think with the upcoming two sessions, they're definitely good. The key thing they're going to be focused on I think, is going to be Biden, and how that U.S. relationship is going to move forward. Obviously, they'll have to reassess the economic situation in the aftermath of Chinese New Year, because we know this period ain't nothing happening in China. So that first quarter economic data is going to come in weak, as it usually does. Um, so they're going to have to kind of reassess the overall domestic situation, but also, um, really find out a strategy to move forward with China-U.S. Relations, especially since Biden seems to be well. I mean, he's gonna fucking use executive orders to roll back a bunch of shit that Trump did. So, but it doesn't seem like
And
anything China related is going to be part of that batch. So,
he seems to be very focused on his domestic agenda right now. And again, as we called, I think that was weeks ago, if he gets, let's say, a slight majority in both, like in the Congress and the Senate, he would definitely focus more on the domestic agenda. And he's showing signs of confidence right now. And I think this is what he wants to go. Like he wants to go down the road of focusing on that. And the messages we're getting right now is like, yeah, Biden seems to be focused on like the domestic agenda right now. He hasn't talked much about China recently versus the obsession with Donald Trump. So I think what we're going to see for the first few weeks or slash 100 days is domestic oriented.
um, yeah. Also, I think we also talked about this. I don't know if we wrote it down, but those kind of allegations from the Republicans of kind of like influence peddling with regards to Hunter Biden and China's what's that stupid fucking company with Ye Jianming who got taken down for corruption. Anyways, I think those allegations are not going to make it easy for Biden to have a softer China approach, because then it just kind of confirms what Republicans were saying all along, like, oh, you're just a fucking crony for China, basically. So um, I don't see any reason
And
for him to be soft on
yeah,
China. There's just no need.
no, there is no need to. You can actually just put the autopilot on what's been done and just keep it afloat. I think if he does that, the Republicans will be happy because he's not rolling back. He's just keeping on track with what Trump did. So, and he doesn't really need to engage more than that. I don't think so. He could, but like, why waste good ammo when he already has a full jam pack agenda for the first 100 days? Like with his like new minimum wage thing, like this is gonna be a nightmare to go through. So I think he needs to choose his battles for the first 100 days. And considering, again, like you said, he has all the ammos, like he already has a Trumpish system that he can squeeze China whenever he wants, and they're already pretty squeezed. So I mean, why waste more time on that right now? Would be my question.
Yeah, I mean the most pressing issue for him is definitely domestic, right? So
Yeah.
there's I think once if they have like a solid, if they contain COVID cases going down, vaccination campaigns going well, then I think he's going to start churning the foreign policy gears and really start giving a shit about issues around the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I don't expect to see anything new for China within the first month, unless, again, all things being equal, because a month is very long in Chinese domestic politics. It's very long. Even a few days can be a whole year. So, um, unless Beijing goes rogue, I don't think Biden has the time to focus on them right now at all.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to wrap it up. I think that's it
Yep,
for.
exactly.
All right, that's it. Goodbye, everyone.
Ciao.